Evening, fellows. Welcome back to another podcast. I guess this is season 3 technically, but I am back with another podcast. It's the Phantom or Dragti, and so I thought I'd bring the podcast back and actually make it into a proper podcast, not what I used to do, where had like 5-minute podcasts and like 10-minute podcasts, and actually do them about a series of topics rather than have like one set topic and then I just run out of time talking about it, or not run out of time, but like I don't have anything to talk about it for the whole 10 minutes. I can only talk about it for like 2 minutes and then I've just wasted the rest of the podcast. So we are back, I guess, with the podcast. This could be seen as some like resurgence. I think that's what I'm going to call it, since season 2 was technically remastered and I thought it was a bit shit, not gonna lie. I did get copyright strike. I didn't get striked, but I did get a couple of copyright claims on them for some of the music I had in the background, so I did remove those podcasts. So we're back and we're just gonna go through some topics. But first, I just want to explain where I've been, what's going on with the channel, and what the future is basically. So I haven't uploaded since like September, August time, and mainly because I've just come back from school and my laptop wasn't really working, but I've got my new laptop now. It's an i7, it has 16 gigs of RAM and a dedicated graphics card. So now we should be able to make I should be able to make videos that are a lot higher quality compared to what I used to do. And it does have touch support, so I can do like more drawing stuff, which is something I've always really wanted to get into. Because the thing with drawing with pencil and paper is that it's basically that. You just have pencil and you have paper and you can rub it out, but it takes so much longer and there are still marks on the paper. Whereas if I'm drawing on my screen, then I can just erase it and there won't be any more marks left. And it's just way easier and you have more tools at your disposal when you're using Photoshop or Paint or whatever. So, so I stopped uploading and I've been thinking about what I want to upload onto the channel, and I've noticed some of the other graphic design channels have also stopped uploading, like Visual Arts. He doesn't really upload anymore. I mean, he did just put out a speed art again, so welcome back. But in terms of like how saturated the design community is on YouTube, I think it's getting to the point where there aren't really that many new topics to talk about. And for me, as a small creator, I can't really make too many topics because they're all done at this point. So there's stuff like I want to do a tutorial on banners and stuff. But in general, I don't like making tutorials, but I'll come on to that later. But when you see like people like Visual Arts and Cecil and like even people like Zalva and Stephen Van, who, I mean, they upload, well, both of them still upload, but they don't upload to the same extent they used to. And they are basically always just going to be higher in the search because they have that established audience and everyone basically watches their videos. So I don't really see the point in doing it anymore. I feel like the community on YouTube in that regard is basically dead. Because like people like Visual Arts used to upload like every week, but you can kind of start to tell you're running out of topics at this point. There's not many topics you can talk about for like 10 minutes and try and get some watch time out of it. It's kind of dead. So, so I don't really like making tutorials either, is the other thing I've come to realize. And tutorials are something that I always really wanted to do, but I don't know, they just never seemed that fun, to be honest. And I was trying to record one on how you use the select and mask tool in Photoshop, and I was just really struggling because I don't really like the way I have to teach in order to do a tutorial, and they don't really seem to ever work out. I mean, they get lots of views, sure, but for me it's hard to put my personality across in a tutorial format, where it's much easier just to do it in a podcast like this. So so that's why on the channel I want to just upload like podcasts. So I want to try and do these for like half an hour long rather than do it for how long? 10 minutes and 5 minutes, season 1 and 2 respectively. they weren't really that high quality either. So I want to try and up the quality of my podcasts and make it seem really good and like professional and stuff. And I also want to just upload speed arts, like Time Lapse Tuesday. I'm not sure if I'm going to continue doing speed arts underneath the Time Lapse Tuesday brand, because not many people, or the main criticism I have with Time Lapse Tuesday is because I used to put the Time Lapse Tuesday at the front of the title, it would kind of like make YouTube think, oh, this video isn't a speed art and stuff. Whereas other designers, they'll put the title of the person they're making a banner or like thumbnail or whatever for at the front, and then put this is a speed art at the end. So if I do continue doing like speed arts underneath the Time Lapse Tuesday banner, it'll probably be slightly different. And I'm also in the process of redoing some of the logos for my channel. So the Phantom podcast like this, I'm going to try and change it up a little bit. And yeah, so with Time Lapse Tuesday, I'm probably going to keep it going, but I'm just going to change the logo and change the whole aesthetic of it. And I might even just have like some commentary at the end or during it if I feel like doing it. Because like something I've seen with a lot of bigger YouTubers who aren't in this design community but make art like watercolor stuff, use pencils and pens and shit like that, like they're actual talented people. Like I'm not saying online graphic designers like in this community aren't talented, because of course like everyone's talented, I guess, but if you can do what people do in Photoshop in real life, then you sort of have a bit of talent than most of us designers, not gonna lie. So I just want to kind of do more realistic, I guess you call it, speed arts. And I just want to do more commentary videos, because that's what I really enjoy making. I don't really enjoy tutorials or like releasing graphics packs every other day. And the gaming, I don't really, well, I like to game, but I don't really like doing commentary gaming. I think it's kind of a hard thing to do, especially on YouTube now, because it's so hard to break through all the noise and stuff. I just don't see it worth going into this like new well, it's not even a new it's an old category, but it's so oversaturated. It's not really worth going into. So yeah, the other reason, well, the third reason I guess for why I don't want to do tutorials on my channel is because when you look at tutorial channels like Zalvo and Stephen Van, they've kind of dropped off, if you get what I'm saying. Like if you look at both of their channels, some of the recent videos they upload, they don't even hit like 10k views. They only get like 1k or 2k. Let me just look at some. 1 second. Because it's kind of sad to see how the design community is kind of falling apart in a way. So here we go. Stephen Van. Yeah, so he just released a text outline effect in Photoshop and it's only got 1.7k. Before that, he did some album artwork effect that only got 3k views. And the last video he had that actually got 10k views was the Scrapbook College. And the thing I find funny is that Steven's making a lot of money outside of YouTube now because he does all this photography and videography stuff, and like he's making a lot of money doing what he likes. But when he uploads and then he doesn't get that many views, you can kind of understand why. It's because if you look back at his channel, all he ever uploaded was tutorials. There weren't really any personality videos, and people came for the tutorials, but they didn't really connect with his personality. The same can be said about Zalvo, realistically. So if I just go onto Zalvo's channel, let's just have a look. Yeah, so Zalvo, he has 400k subscribers, but he only gets like 20 views, 20k views, 10k views. Like just scrolling through his channel, the last video he got with 100k views was this best OBS settings video. And that they always get lots of views and stuff. So it's kind of the idea that people aren't really providing content anymore, because when you subscribe to tutorial channels, you come for the tutorials. You don't really come for the personality, unless they have a really good personality. Otherwise, you stay. So people like Peter McKinnon, I'm not subscribed to him anymore. Actually, I'll explain that later. But he has an engaging personality, but he also does tutorials and he also teaches, and that's something that the design community misses. And I think Stephen Van's trying to become the next Peter McKinnon, if you ask me. But he's not really the sort of person who should, in my opinion. Because when you build your audience around one thing, it's kind of hard to shift it, especially in the way he has. I mean, I think when you look up a lot of these my channels dead and stuff, and you try and work out why channels are dying, it's because they only stick with one content, and then when the channel grows out of that content, people don't want to watch it anymore. So you see these tips like these gaming channels where they upload like Fortnite daily. Then when Fortnite drops off, no one's gonna be watching it anymore. Let's be honest, like, I don't know when Fortnite will drop off, but eventually it will drop off, and those channels are just gonna be dead. Like Ninja, I don't think he'll survive. He'll still get views and stuff, but I don't think he's gonna actually stay as relevant, because Fortnite will be dead, I guess. So yeah, I'm just gonna have some water now. My voice is starting to get a bit dry. So yeah. So now I just want to talk about why I'm unsubscribed from Peter McKinnon. And to be fair, I did enjoy his videos. And this kind of goes to the same for why I've unsubscribed from Mr. Who's the Boss. But it's basically not even that their content's changed that much. Well, Mr. Who's the Boss has changed his content a lot. Because when I subscribed to him, he used to upload like these Android tips videos, apps videos, stuff that I was actually into. But over time, he stopped doing these like sort of videos and started doing more rumors. And he's tried to turn into the next like rumor guy. If I want to read rumors, I'll just go on Reddit and or Android or something. But the thing with Mr. Who's the Boss is that over time, you can tell like the video production might have gone up, but the actual content inside the video has kind of dropped off. Like he did some rant about Samsung and their notches, like 1 minute, and this was on the day they launched the Note 9. And a month ago, he was really happy with them, and he was posting on Twitter that he enjoyed them. And then on the day they released the Note 9, he uploaded the video and he started ranting about it. And I'm sitting there trying to work out why he changed. And he's like, oh yeah, this is really unprofessional and stuff. But the thing is, it's supposed to be a funny video and it's got your attention. And because you're making a video on it, you're kind of boosting them, because now all Samsung's... anyone who searches for Samsung is going to see your video, and then they're going to make fun of you in turn for just taking the video so seriously. Apple has made fun of Windows before, and now Samsung's making fun of Apple, but I don't ever see you criticizing Apple for making fun of Windows. And it's kind of this rhetoric where you're trying to blame one person, but you're not backing yourself up. And I remember in the comments section, everyone was having a go at him because he didn't get invited. I don't think he got invited to the Note 9 or Samsung Experience thing in New York, and he's just salty over that because the Note 9 is easily the best phone of the year. But he basically just got salty over that, and then fairly recently he uploaded a video saying that his channel is going to be deleted or something because of the EU's new copyright system. And when you watch the video, I don't think he's done his research at all, to be honest. Like, anyone who's watching the news or knows anything about Brexit and stuff will know that after Brexit happens in March, which it's a bit cloudy at the moment, But assuming Brexit happens like it should do, we won't have to actually, in the UK at least, we won't have to put these copyright restrictions on it. So in brief, the copyright restrictions basically put a huge copyright filter and content ID of the whole internet, which is why it's bad, because it's basically just filtering out everything. And if you use any copyright material, then it'll basically get blocked. So it's really bad in that sense. I mean, it's a good idea in principle, but the wording's really bad. And what Mr. Who's the Boss did was he's like, oh yeah, my channel's going to get deleted. No one's telling me anything. And if you had gone on to like UK petitions and stuff, you would have seen there's a petition at the moment asking these questions. And I don't know, it just really infuriates me because he used to do his research a lot. At the beginning of the year, he uploaded a video on OnePlus 6. Was it 6? I think so. And he was explaining like the late mover advantage, and he seemed really intelligent then. But now, when you watch his videos, it seems like he's got dumber and he doesn't really check or proofread anything. And I don't know what's changed, but I don't really like it anymore, so I just unsubbed. And the same kind of goes for, well, from Peter McKinnon, it's more that he's kind of salty against his fans. Like, I can't tell if it's sarcasm or it's not. But I remember seeing on Twitter, some guy was like, I don't like the video. And he's like, I don't like you, Sma. And then I think he blocked him or something. I don't know exactly what happened, but in general, I don't really like his content anymore. Because then less tutorial, more filler. I'd rather just have the tutorial and then you can do your filler stuff after. Because he knows his fans are going to watch all the filler stuff anyway. Like all this B-roll and stuff. But people like me don't really care about the B-roll. We just want to see the actual tutorial. So I would rather have the tutorial first. And that's what I was actually trying to do with my tutorials. I was just going to do a tutorial and then have filler at the end. And just make it like that. I mean, my watch time would probably drop off then. But I think it's a better way of doing it compared to the way Peter was. So that's why I've unsubbed from him. I mean, I don't dislike any of their videos, but in the sense that I click the dislike button, but I just don't really like the way they make their content anymore. I mean, I get you have to evolve your channel, but the way they're evolving their channel is kind of wrong because they're kind of forgetting what made their channel so successful in the first place. So, yeah, guys, let's move on to a different topic about the channel and stuff. So, with this new laptop, I've already mentioned I can do touchscreen stuff, but I want to know if you guys are actually going to watch it because I don't want to start uploading all this like drawing stuff and more exciting stuff unless you guys are actually interested in it, because it's like what I said before. When you start uploading one type of content and then you upload other types of content, it becomes harder and harder for people. So it becomes harder for people to transition into it. And the drawing content I want to do is more anime style, which is something I don't really do on my channel. I mean, I don't think I've ever done like an anime style banner or header or whatever. But yeah, so I'm just going to have some iCards poll or whatever, and you guys can tell me if you guys want to see it. But yeah, guys. So yeah, I just want to talk about the graphic design community now, I guess. So this is an interesting one for me because, as you guys know, I'm a manager for visual arts server. I've become admin for Moses server, and I'm still admin for Stephen Fan. But the thing I've noticed with graphic design is it's kind of starting to stagnate, in the sense that some people are still doing pen tool designs, which were really popular in the summer, and other people have switched back to the grunge style, and some people are doing like cinema 4D stuff. And when I first entered the community, everyone used to do one type of design, and then we slowly transitioned away from it. But now, because it's starting to stagnate, it's becoming, it's not necessarily harder to give feedback anymore, but the amount of designers that are doing different things makes it harder to manage. I guess you could say, because when you're a moderator or an admin on a server, a design server in particular, and you're trying to give feedback on other things and you're trying to help out designers, some designers might want like pen tool tutorials and a place where they can put their abstract headers. Some people want more realistic manipulations and stuff. So it becomes harder to try and balance out everything. So yeah, it's kind of interesting because as a designer, I prefer doing more abstract stuff. I don't really care about style, but I see lots of designers now trying to complain about certain styles. So they dislike the pen tool, they dislike grunge because it's all like more murky and darker and stuff. So yeah, guys, I guess that's all I have to say about that. So let's just have a look at what's on Reddit, because something's always interesting is on Reddit. That didn't make any sense. Something that's interesting is always on Reddit. No way. So slow. Right. So, this is something interesting because on Twitter for Android, you can now see what device people tweet from. So, if you're like MKBHD, you're basically like Twitter police, where you go around, you look at different companies and brands who are sponsored by phone companies, and you check what they're tweeting from. So, for example, it's just come out that Apple Music was tweeting on an Android. Like, this makes no sense for me. Like, you see all these celebrities and even Samsung got caught doing it, tweeting from iPhones, even though they're endorsed by Androids. And now we can see Apple doing the opposite. So maybe, I don't know, maybe it's time that Samsung and co start to crack down on it. But then again, I'm thinking that companies like Samsung and Apple are probably doing this on purpose because it kind of drives around talk around them, isn't it? Because it helps them with their branding, well, not with their branding, but it helps push their brands more and gives them more exposure. I mean, that's what I found with like some of the other stuff about YouTube and PewDiePie, which is recently going on, where the media is just calling him a racist and anti-Semite because some other guy in his game was had an it wasn't even anti-Semite, had a name that was like a parody of a Jewish name, and he recently did some channel shout out to a guy who puts anti-Semitic jokes into his videos, and they're really subtle apparently. So he's under fire for that. But the thing I don't really understand with this, and this is something that I'm really trying to work out why, is that the media's influence is currently falling because of YouTube and independent creators. I mean, TV's down, everyone knows it. Newspaper sales have gone down. Everything's really gone down. So by trying to, I guess, promote these creators and their stories, you're giving them even more space to spread their message. And it kind of, while in short term, you're going to get more views and clicks and stuff, because clickbait is obviously something that's really big at the moment. In the long term, you're going to lose even more viewers, because when it comes out that it's fake and there's not much common sense used in stories, I guess, then it kind of makes the platform look bad, and people are just going to stay on YouTube, and even more people might join YouTube. Like, let's say I'm the typical Verge reader, and then they publish this PewDiePie story, and it turns out to be fake. Then I'm not really going to be wanting to watch, or not even watch, but read The Verge anymore, because they lied about that story. And like, if they keep doing it, then eventually it kind of publishes this idea that this news source is unworthy. Just like the Daily Mail is kind of being published as an unworthy news source. I mean, they do good things occasionally, but let's be honest here, it's not really the best paper you can read. Arguably, there's no good paper anymore that you can actually read and get a decent overview of the facts and stuff. Oh, my voice just went. The facts and stuff. Because of the way, like, politicians that brought out papers, I guess, or the way people are trying to push their views more. Because with the internet, you can push out your own views fairly easily. Like I'm publishing my views now. Whether or not people want to listen to it is another story altogether. But I think it's kind of interesting how papers have suddenly turned from more news orientated to sensationalism. And if they keep doing it, then I think it's just going to keep pushing people online. So, yeah, that's my take on that. So, I guess there's not much else I really have to say this week, I guess. Well, I don't know how often I'm going to be uploading the podcast. I'm guessing weekly. So, it'll be a weekly podcast and a weekly speed art, and that's what I'm going to upload. Don't know what day I'm going to be uploading this podcast. Maybe Sundays. But then on Tuesdays, I upload Time-Lapse Tuesday. So it's kind of like maybe Fridays. Fridays seem like a good day to upload podcasts because like you've just come home and you might want to just chill and listen to a podcast. I don't know. Let me know down below if this time suits you guys. But yeah, I've talked for over 25 minutes now. So fair to say we've gone over what I used to do on the old podcast. And I think the audio might sound a little bit better. I'm not sure yet. I'm going to edit it as always and we'll see how it turns out. But thanks for watching or listening, I guess. Let me know what you think of like the whole aesthetic of the new podcast, the resurgence of the podcast. And yeah, thanks for watching or listening. And peace. I'm out.